Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and with the summer season very quickly coming to a close and the fall TV season beginning very soon, I figured now would be a good time for me to do my top 10 summer shows of 2015. And guys, I definitely really enjoyed what I watched on TV this year. Yeah, there is three shows that are still on, but they're ending, like those being Teen Wolf, Mr. Robot, and Hannibal. Teen Wolf has its finale this week, as is Mr. Robot, and Hannibal ends next week, so all three of those shows are going to be done soon. So basically, this was hard to put together. Even though I didn't watch a lot of TV this summer, it was hard to put this top 10 together because I really do love all the shows that I picked, and let's just get into it. Starting off with actually three honorable mentions. I know, you'd be like, well, you didn't watch a lot of TV. How do you have honorable mentions? There were actually three shows that I really wanted to put on this list, but just couldn't, and I'll talk about them. First one we have is Big Brother 17. I know you guys might be a little bit shocked about this, but I've really been into this season. At this point in the show of Big Brother is when I'm bored with the show and I can't wait for it to end. I'm still really into it, and that's just because I think of how great the cast is, how unpredictable it is. It's been a really unpredictable season. I've really been into it, and even in bad weeks, I still look forward to it. Like last week with Liz's HOH, and this week with Austin's HOH, which I just spoiled, but whatever. It's boring, but it's still interesting. There's still stuff interesting about it, and I still really do enjoy it. And I always try to stay positive about where other seasons I've been completely negative, and this season I've been really positive, and I've really been into it. And it's the Big Brother that I love. This is why I watch Big Brother, because I always question, for the past 2 years, I question, why do I continue watching this show? This is why, because of great seasons like this. This is a great season. This is the Big Brother that I love, and I have to say, if there was any show that had a comeback this year, it was Big Brother by far, definitely. They had the biggest comeback. I didn't think the season was going to be this good, but it is, and Big Brother 17, that's why it's in my honorable mentions. The next one is Orange is the New Black, simply because I hated that one storyline between Piper, Stella, and Alex. It never went anywhere. It made the show way too dramatic, and I never cared about it. There were other storylines that were a lot more grasping and a lot more interesting, and had it not been for that storyline, this would have definitely been on my top 10, because other than that love triangle, this is a fantastic season, very, very stellar, and overall also gave us probably the best episode the show has ever given us with that amazing finale, which if you guys have not checked out that finale, definitely check it out. You can check out all of Season 3 on Netflix. It's an amazing season. Just be warned, there's a really annoying love triangle, but other than that, if you can look past that, it is still a fantastic season. And my final honorable mention is Wayward Pines. Wayward Pines was, of course, a Fox miniseries that could have been really bad, but ended up being really, really good. The only reason it's not my top 10 is I did really enjoy it. It is kind of forgettable, though. I will admit that. It's not something where I'm going to be like, oh my god, Wayward Pines, one of the best shows on TV. No, it is a bit forgettable, but I still did really enjoy it. I thought it was a really great show, and especially for M. Night Shyamalan, who hasn't really been doing really good stuff, for him to make this really good TV series really makes me feel like maybe he should switch to TV and do more of that, because he definitely knows what he's doing, and I thought he did a really great job with that. And it very much at times felt like a 10-hour movie. Definitely, I really enjoyed Wayward Pines. All three of those shows I really enjoyed, but they just didn't make it on my top 10, and now let's get into my top 10. Now, by the way, guys, all of the links to my reviews for these shows will be in the description below. You guys can check them out, and yeah, so here we go. Right away, number 10 and 9, I switched around a lot, but I ultimately made number 10 Humans. Number 10 is Humans, and I really love Humans. I know a lot of people really don't like it, but I personally really loved it. I mean, it did some very unpredictable stuff. I really got into the characters and the story. I think every character was really interesting. And I personally, I know a lot of people didn't thought they revealed too much this season. I think it made it better because it made us care more about the characters. It made us see why the synths are the way they are. And in order for them to do to show us what this show is going to be like, I mean, they did a really great job with this, especially because this is based off a Swedish TV show, and this is a British remake, but it was still very good. I know a lot of people don't like it. I haven't seen Real Humans, and I don't know if I'm going to, but I personally really loved Humans. I'm really looking forward to season 2. They left us on a really great cliffhanger, and I, for the most part, really loved Humans. I thought it was a really great show. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. It's on AMC. Well, it was on AMC. And you guys can check it out probably on demand. It's a great show, and I really enjoyed it. Number 9 is Pretty Little Liars. Pretty Little Liars, I would have put this a little bit higher, but what happened was that one episode, that one random episode that I really didn't like kind of killed it. However, I had to put it on the list. I mean, it was an incredible season still. Knowing that we had, at least a name of who A could be, not really knowing who it was, made it a lot more interesting, and just getting into the mystery more. I really got into it, and I have to say they did a really great job with keeping the season just as interesting as the last season. And I can't wait to see where the second half of this season goes. And of course, the amazing reveal about Charlotte. I mean, I know a lot of people hate it, but I thought it was an incredible reveal. I think it was still probably the best thing the show has done, and it really was a very unpredictable twist that I personally didn't see coming at all, and I thought they did an incredible job with it. I loved this season of Pretty Little Liars. There was some really great stuff this season. Also, I was happy that they finally graduate as well, because now we're going 5 years forward in the second half of the season, and I'm really interested in seeing where that goes in January, and overall, I really love Pretty Little Liars this season. Great season overall. Number 8 is another mini-series, but main reason why Wayward Pines wasn't on this list is because of this mini-series. Number 8 is Wet Hot American Summer, First Day of Camp. I did not expect to love this as much as I did. I mean, I saw the movie, I thought it was funny, but nothing that memorable. However, this came out, and I immediately loved it. Every episode was just on fire. I was loving every single episode. I mean, there are so many great references, and I rewatched the show. Like, there's a review site I read called the AV Club, and whenever they put up an episode, I just rewatch it, and it's very rewatchable. It's very funny, and the fact they got this whole cast back, and even though they looked 30s, 40s, they looked like teenagers. That's incredible. The fact that they did it, they're not, but you believe they are because the way they act, their mannerisms. They did just such a great job with that, and it was so funny to watch, and the storylines got ridiculous, but the more ridiculous they got, the more hilarious they got. The 80s references were non-stop. There were so many good ones, and there were things that I didn't even notice the first time. It's a show that you honestly have to watch multiple times to get all the references, and I think that's fantastic. If a show begs you to watch it more than once, so be it. I will totally watch this more than once. I'll probably watch this again at some point. It's a great show. It's very fun, and it's probably the show the most that just spoke summer. Like, everything you want in a summer show, everything you think about summer, when you want a great summer, you can't watch this when it's not summer. Like, if you don't want to feel like it's summer, you should not watch this. But Wet Hot American Summer, First Day of Camp, I love this show. I think it was fantastic, and I would want them to do a second one. It wouldn't make any sense, but nothing really on this show made a lot of sense, and they acknowledge that, and I love that. And even with their ridiculous plot twist, it still was very funny. It was all done in fun, and I honestly think everyone had loads of fun. There was no one I felt wasn't into it. Everyone seemed like they were right back into their roles, and it really is what a great mini-series should be. Thank you to Netflix for doing it, and yeah, Wet Hot American Summer, First Day of Camp. Check it out. It's on Netflix. It's an incredible, hilarious show, and it'll make you love the characters even more. Even the backstories they gave, again, like I said in my review, nothing I ever wanted, but I still loved it because it made you love the characters even more, and it made so much more sense, and I definitely really enjoyed the way they did that. I mean, no one went into this wanting questions like, oh, how did Lindsay get to camp? Why is she slow slutty? Nobody asked that question. But of course, Elizabeth Banks is now a star, so they had to give her more to do, and I was very happy that they did that. If you haven't seen Wet Hot American Summer, First Day of Camp, check it out. It's an incredible show. I really did love it. It's also really funny. Number 7 is Teen Wolf. I mean, Teen Wolf last season was good, but it wasn't the best. I definitely will admit that. But that was kind of because they were trying to find their footing again. They, had lost a lot of characters. They now had a much smaller cast than they had had. And they were trying to figure out how to fit all these storylines in. Where does Malia fit in? Where does Kira fit in? Where does Liam fit in? And now that they figured that out, this season has been incredible. I mean, just these characters of the Dread Doctors have made everything so much more interesting. The way the characters have turned against each other, the drama that's surrounding them, the, struggles that they're going through, the way Scott has gone from this confident, true alpha to this really depressed, run down wolf. I mean, it's really sad to watch, but I really appreciate that they went in this dark direction because it's made the show 100% better. I mean, it has never been this dark. I think the darkest they went was Allison's death, but this is an even better storyline than the Nagitsune because of the fact that this doesn't just affect Styles, it affects everyone, and I think they're doing an incredible job. I can't wait to see what happens in the finale. I swear to God, they better not kill off Hayden. Hayden has been one of my favorite new additions to the show. I don't know what it is, but Hayden and Liam has been one of my favorite storylines of the season. Again, I don't understand it, but they have been, and I've loved every minute of this season. Really, there hasn't been a single bad episode this season, and I think that's just because of how on fire they've been. They've really been trying to do whatever they can to give the characters the storylines that they need, and really fleshing out the characters. Even the new characters like Liam and Hayden and Mason don't feel out of place this season. Last season, I will admit, they did feel a bit out of place, but this season they seem like they fit right in. They're now a much more integral part of the show, and you really can't have Team Wolf without Liam, Hayden, and Mason. You really can, and I think they've done a great job with that. I really love Team Wolf this season, and I can't wait to see how the finale is. It's going to be incredible. And again, guys, it's the mid-season finale, not the season finale, the mid-season finale. There will be a second half of the season, I think, coming in March, which I'm hyped up for, and I can't wait to see how it turns out. Incredible season. I've overall loved Team Wolf this season. Fantastic show. Number 6 is Bojack Horseman. Bojack Horseman was a show I never really expected myself to watch, honestly. I watched a couple episodes last year. It was funny, but it was nothing really that memorable. I was like, you know what, it was funny, but it's not really something that I would have watched again. However, leave it to me to binge Season 1, enter Downer Ending. After Downer Ending, I'm like, I need to watch Season 2, and Season 2 was even better than Season 1. I mean, just the way they focused on depression and acceptance and things like that. And Bojack realizing he doesn't need to change to make himself happy. He just needs to, enjoy, accept who he is and enjoy himself and just be himself. And I think that was an incredible message. And of course, we had the Escape from LA episode, which everyone is talking about. One of the most controversial episodes of the entire year, honestly. I mean, I was surprised by how much controversy it got, and I'm not surprised because it deserves the controversy. I mean, it was a very touchy subject, but they really handled it very well. They also focused on secondary characters very well. They weren't just secondary characters this season. Princess Caroline, Diane, Mr. Peanut Butter, Todd were all just as important as Bojack was, and I think that's fantastic that they did that, because Season 1, they were more like it was all Bojack show, but this was really more of an ensemble cast this season, I mean, Bojack was in the show, but it was more of an ensemble cast. We focused more on the secondary characters and less on Bojack, which I thought was very daring for this show to do. And also the fact that it's an animated series and it's going in these dark directions that I don't think some TV shows are scared to do. Even live action shows, they're scared to do. But the fact that they're doing it is what I think is so impressive about it. It's an animated TV series, but it's so much more than that. Don't just look at it as a silly animated show. It's so much more. It is a true story. It is a story about being yourself and accepting who it is and trying to turn your life around and things like that. And it's a fantastic show. I love Bojack Horseman Season 2. Yeah, there were a couple things I said that I did have complaints about, but for the most part, I thought this was a fantastic season, and I can't wait for Season 3. I'm so happy it got renewed. One of the best shows on Netflix, by far. I love Bojack Horseman. Okay. Number 5 is Penny Dreadful. I know you guys are like, Penny Dreadful? That came out in April. I know it came out in April. But it was on for most of the summer. It was on till July, so I'm going to count it as the summer. Penny Dreadful was an incredible season this year. I loved Season 2 of Penny Dreadful. Season 1 was fantastic. It really, established the characters, got us into them, showed why they're important. But Season 2 gave us even more. I mean, it gave us one of the most badass villains on TV. I mean, Evelyn is still one of the most badass, terrifying villains I've seen in a long time, and she really did a fantastic job. The story, the way they focus more on Vanessa and everything, but the thing I love the most is the way they focused on the creatures that they're becoming. Ethan's turning into this werewolf, and he kind of doesn't want this to happen. He needs to accept it. John's trying to be human, but it's really not working. Vanessa is sort of like that speech that Ethan gave her when she said, you're becoming a killer. It's very, very fascinating stuff, and it took the show to a whole new level. There's so much more I loved about it. I mean, the witches made it even more interesting. The way they put Malcolm under that spell, I mean, that was so interesting to watch. And of course, who can forget the Memento Mori episode where Malcolm sees visions of his dead children? I mean, there was probably, I was on the verge of tears in that episode. I will admit that. And it even showed that Vanessa, as big as a part of the show as she is, you don't need her to make a fantastic episode. And I think that's fantastic. Yeah, Vanessa was pretty much the main character of the show. I will definitely admit that. But they did a whole episode without her, and it was probably one of the best episodes, or maybe the best episode this show has done. The last 3 episodes of Season 2 really took the show to a high gear, and it really made me love things even more. Even Sem Ben, who seemed like he wasn't going to have anything to do, was a badass this season. I mean, I know, I don't want to spoil, okay, Sem Ben, yeah, he died, but he was still a badass. The way he formed that bond with Ethan and tried to help him out, and told him to, that he just stay there, and he let Ethan kill him. I mean, it was incredible to watch, and the way he was so protective of Ethan and things like that. You didn't just see Sem Ben as this butler. You saw him as a character. You saw him as a guardian to all these people, and I love the way they did that. They furthered all the characters so much more. They made you care about the characters more, showed you why they were important. Even Dorian, who fell a little bit out of place in Season 1, fit even better here, I think. I think Dorian was one of the best things about this season by far, what they did with Dorian's storyline. And of course, who can forget the killing of Angelique that Dorian did? I mean, it was really, really brutal stuff, but it was very well done. I really enjoyed it. And overall, Penny Dreadful, incredible show. Still the best horror show on TV. I absolutely love it, and I cannot wait for Season 3. One of the most depressing endings of a season of the year by far, right next to Game of Thrones, but still a fantastic season. I can't wait to see where Season 3 goes. It's going to be very interesting, and I absolutely loved this season of Penny Dreadful. Overall, if you haven't seen it, fantastic show. Check it out. It's probably Showtime's most underrated show. A lot more people should watch it, and they don't. It really sucks because it is an incredible show. Okay, number 4 for me is the most surprising show of this year. I expected to like this show. I expected for it to be fun. I didn't expect for me to say this is one of the best shows on TV. And this was almost like number 2. That's how much I love this show. And it's not now, but it's number 4. Number 4 is Unreal. Unreal is one of the best shows I think I've ever seen. I mean, it's so fascinating the way they did this. What I love about this show is this is a show that could have failed very easily, but all they did is have people that have worked on reality shows. They know what the business is like. They know that there's a lot of manipulation and lies and things like that. These characters are very, very flawed, and a lot of people say, why are they so unlikable? Because that's the point. They're doing horrible things, but there are reasons why. I mean, Quinn's a motherly figure to everyone, yet she only cares about good TV, and sometimes she's nice, sometimes she's not. I mean, these characters are very complex, and you're kind of trying to figure them all out, and I love that about the show. Really, I think the only good characters on the show, the ones that didn't do anything bad, Madison, Grace, and, I mean, some of the girls, yeah, like, Grace did, Wagerstein, Madison, other than them, though, like, all the girls pretty much did some bad shit. I mean, everyone really did something bad. It really showed that a reality show is not what you think, and I love the way they did that. The twist that happened in this show. I mean, who can forget the episode, of course, again, another one of the most controversial episodes of the season, when they killed off Mary. I mean, everyone was so pissed about it. I personally thought it was a very daring twist, and I love they did that because It showed that, they almost went out of business, but they were able to fight, and it got better for them again. And of course, the finale was incredible. I mean, one of the most intense finales of the year. I mean, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I was loving every minute of it. It's also so funny. One of the funniest shows on TV by far. I mean, I laugh so much during this show. I get so into it, and I'm surprised that a show about making a reality TV show is just so interesting. It's just so much more than that. It's so much more of a character study and a lot less of just how do we make a reality TV show, which I think is very fascinating. I can't wait to see where season 2 goes. I know it's going to be incredible. Unreal, number 4, check it out. It's an incredible show. And I didn't think I'd watch a show on Lifetime after the cancellation of Witch of the East End, but honestly, this was even better than Witch of the East End. I enjoyed it more. I thought the characters were even more compelling, and I pretty much loved everything about Unreal. It didn't have a single bad episode, which is really, really big for Lifetime. I mean, Lifetime's a network that usually has horrible shows. Horrible shows. I mean, like, Devious Maids. I mean, I've heard people like that, but like, there are horrible shows on Lifetime. It's nice to have one show that everyone can watch. I mean, there were guys that watched Unreal. That's how great of a show Unreal is. And a lot of people say The Bachelorette got better. Well, I think it's Unreal that really made The Bachelor more popular because it shows what really happens in the reality process. And then these reality shows started to become a lot more self-aware because now we know kind of what's going on behind the scenes, and I really like seeing that. And yeah, maybe not everything in the show was completely realistic, but I believed it. Like, there was stuff that I believed, and I didn't care if it was realistic or not. I just cared that it was a great show, which it was throughout the entire season. There was not one point where I'm like, I'm gonna stop watching this. I loved it the whole time. Unreal absolutely gets number 4. I absolutely love this show. Okay. So that and the last 3 shows kept switching around. I knew my number 1 was, but like 2 and 3 kept switching around a lot, and it really sucked, but basically, it ultimately came down to this, and I was going to put this in number 2, but I put it in number 3 because it wasn't the show that shocked me the most. I still really do love this show, but of course this had to be on the list. Number 3 is Hannibal. Hannibal, incredible season. Just incredible season overall. And it's so sad that the show got canceled when you have really stupid shows on NBC like Aquarius and, there's like Aquarius on there. There's some horrible shows coming out in the fall. You just look at what they keep and then what they cancel. NBC, the only reason they're canceling the show is because it should be on another network. Hannibal goes in such daring directions, and there were so many things I loved about this season. The way they made it so unpredictable. I mean, if you know the story of the Red Dragon, there were many things that they changed. I looked it up online. There were many things that they changed, and I'm very happy that they did because it made the show even more compelling, and I think this season is probably the best. I mean, I love season 2. The first half of season 3, I was like, I like this, but it's not as good. This half of the season with the Red Dragon has made it even better, I think, than the first half. The first half was fantastic, but I will admit the first 4 episodes, not the best choice. But after that, I was totally into the show. I loved every minute of it, and I love how much this season is expressed with becoming, what you're becoming, and that you're not a killer or not, especially focusing on Will and Francis. It's very well done. Mads Mikkelsen obviously is killing in his Hannibal. Everyone has been fantastic this season. Also, giving Will a family, one of the best choices I think this show has ever made. Finally, Will has someone other than Hannibal to protect. He finally has someone else to talk to. He doesn't just want to talk to Hannibal. Now he has Molly and Walter. He has a family that he needs to go back to, and I love seeing that in the show. The way they've kind of made Jack Crawford, like, maniacal and kind of an anti-hero, I've really been liking. I mean, yeah, Jack Crawford's doing the right things, but he is interfering with Will's family life, and he'll do whatever he can. I mean, he would not let Will take no for an answer, and I love the way they've done that. They've made Alana such a better character. I mean, she's gone from this girl that just sleeps around with Will and Hannibal to this badass. I mean, she was awesome this season. The way she wanted to take down Hannibal and get revenge on him, it was awesome to watch, and Margot was great. Mason Verger, oh my god, I mean, that episode is still one of the best episodes of this entire year, honestly. I absolutely loved everything about Hannibal this season. Such an incredible show. I cannot wait for tonight's episode. I know it's going to be incredible, but Hannibal, absolutely number 3. Number 2 is by far the most shocking show of the year. Okay, I knew that I was really going to love this show. I did. I knew from the previews this was going to be a show that I absolutely loved and that I would find amazing. However, this show for me did not get number 2 till about episode 8. And of course, you guys know what it is. Number 2 is Mr. Robot. I mean, shows, yes, there have been some shows that have shocked me, but nothing has really made me, think about it more and process it more than Mr. Robot did. I mean, Mr. Robot just has such compelling characters and such interesting storylines, and it's so much, I can understand if someone can get bored by this show, but it's so interesting. I mean, especially episode 8 when they revealed the twist of Darlene being his sister. It's incredible. And I've loved all the characters in the beginning. Mr. Robot did have that one episode, but now I don't even care that episode was bad because now we understand why Tyrell did it. And, I mean, the way they've built up this character of Elliot. Rami Malek, by far, best actor's performance of, in a summer show by far this year. He was incredible. He did an incredible job in this show, as did the guy that played Tyrell. I cannot wait to see what happens in season 2. I mean, in the finale and in season 2. It's gonna be incredible. I loved every minute of Mr. Robot, especially since, these last 2 episodes, they have been on fire, and I know the finale is gonna be amazing. And plus, I love it the show isn't afraid to be long. It's not. And, it goes on for a long time, and I really love that. I mean, sometimes it's as long. This week's episode was like as long as a cable show. It was very, very well done. I absolutely love Mr. Robot. It's one of the best shows on TV by far. One of the best shows I've personally ever seen, and I love every minute of it. And anytime there's a twist, anytime, it shocks me. I don't see it coming, and I thought they did a great job with that. I absolutely love Mr. Robot. Mr. Robot absolutely gets number 2. I absolutely love it. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. It's an amazing show. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys know what number 1 is. I'm pretty sure. If you guys don't know what number 1 is, I will admit, number 1 and number 2, hard to do. I was trying to figure out which show I loved more. But really, when it came down to it, there was no show I thought about more, contemplated about more, thought about what's going to happen in the show, wanting to watch more, got more addicted to than SinceEight. Number 1 is SinceEight. Now, SinceEight, I didn't even think was going to be that good of a show. I really didn't. I mean, I remember when it came out that I even really wasn't even looking forward to it, guys, because of the fact that the Wachowskis have been doing nothing but shit lately. SinceEight really was their comeback. It was the show for me that I think is Netflix's best. I know I've said that, Daredevil's great, Wet Hot American Summer First Day of Camp is great, but there's no show on Netflix that I thought about more, wanted to watch more, wanted to see what happened to these characters more than SinceEight, and SinceEight really was the best for me. I mean, I know people think it's slow, but I found every single one of these characters fantastic. They're all so distinctly different. They all have such different backgrounds. The fact that they shot all this entire show in 8 different locations, and if you guys don't know, I saw a documentary. They shot this show, they would do the scenes in one location first, then another location, another location. It's a very daring thing what they did. It could have gone horrible, but it goes perfectly. I was able to, understand what's going on the whole time. Episode 4 hooked me in right away. I was completely into it. I absolutely loved this show. I mean, there were times where I just sit and think about what these characters are doing. I just think, what's going to happen in this storyline? What's going to happen with that? And the show, to me, became much less about, what's going on with the SinceEights and more about these characters' lives. Every single one of them have fantastic lives, and every single one of them have challenges in their lives. It's a very realistic show. We all have different challenges in our lives, and the way they meet each other, I mean, it felt like a big event when these, when the 8 of them meet up finally in the finale. It feels like that's what we've been waiting for all season. They did a fantastic job with that. I loved every minute of SinceEight, and I'm so happy that they're getting a season 2. I mean, the way they announced it, when they announced it on August 8th, I mean, it doesn't get more awesome than that, because that, of course, is the Sense8's birthday, and I think that's awesome. I cannot wait for season 2. It's going to be incredible. I never expected to love this show as much as I did, but I did. It still has, I think, the best scene on TV I have seen all year with what's going on. I mean, there are just things you can't do on other shows, and this show really does show that. I mean, if you guys have been missing a really great sci-fi show, this is the one for you, but it's much less of that and much more of, again, a character study, and I love that about this show. It's a fantastic show. It's very engaging. One of the best shows of the entire year that I loved, and nothing topped it. I knew nothing was going to top it. There was no show I love more than Sense8, and that is why Sense8 is number 1. Alright guys, that's it for my top 10 shows of summer 2015. Let me know what shows you guys are watching. There are other shows I am watching, but I didn't put them on this list. Like The Fosters, obviously, is not on this list. If there was any summer shows that I didn't see that I should have, let me know. I might check them out, and maybe I'll review them to you guys. But this is my top 10. Let me know what you guys thought of all the shows. What was your favorite show of the summer? What was your least favorite show of the summer? Do you agree with all my picks? What do you think of that? Again, I will leave the links to every single review I have done of these shows down below. And that's basically my review. Hope you guys enjoy it. I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for the series premiere of Blunt Talk, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.